Today, I want to talk about something that I think a lot of artists struggle with, and this thing is belief. Whatever you believe about yourself, whatever you believe about your music, whatever you believe about the person you are, is going to define and determine how happy you are with the outcomes that you have in life, in your job, in your work, with your family, and of course, with your music. Now, of course, this is music philosophy, so we're going to relate this to music, but this applies to everything in your life. But I want to talk to musicians specifically today. Now, I want to talk about beliefs today because I was looking at messages in one of the groups that I'm in, and a young man by the name of Christopher posted something. And I thought to myself, this conversation has come up not just once, it's come up many times when I've had conversations with many artists about what they're doing with their music and what they're doing with their careers in music. And I think this is quite relevant. So I'm going to share with you a couple of stories. And the first story I'm going to share with you is Chris's story because I think it's quite relevant. So Chris, I hope you don't mind me doing this. And so I'm going to read out what Chris wrote today. And I think you'll find that a lot of you might relate with this story. So here it is. I've been trying to sing to get popular. I've sung and I've posted many songs on many song app networks. I've posted about 100 songs, but I have no likes, views, or comments that are higher than 10. I've been missing every opportunity, but I don't have many memberships. I'm not quite sure what it means by that. But when I view other people's songs, it's above 1K, people under 1 minute, but I've been posting since July 2022 last year, and my highest likes are just 12. It hurts. Social media is not for me. When I post on Facebook, I don't get likes at all. One day, I'm going to quit. I feel like I'm wasting my time with music and social media. Now I post it now. You see it won't get above 100 people or 100 likes, I think is what he meant. All my music, my hard work, I'm going to delete everything. Now, reading this, I think Chris is quite young and I can see from his picture that he's a bit young. But I think that his feelings echo the sentiment that a lot of artists have felt, which is a feeling of, why am I doing this? Like asking yourself the question, like, why am I putting myself through this? Because at the moment, it doesn't seem to be working, right? And I've had this very exact same feeling. I remember feeling exactly how Chris felt some years ago when I was releasing my music. And I thought, I've put so much effort into my music. I'm not really getting the response that I thought I should have gotten from it. And although people like the music, I'm still not going to reach the very heights of where I want to get to. And so what Chris is describing, something that I felt personally, right? Something that I felt personally in my own development as an artist, as a musician, as a singer, as a songwriter. And that the feeling that he's getting, that he's experiencing is, look, why would I put so much effort into doing all this work when I'm not getting any likes, I'm not getting any engagement? And don't get me wrong, there's things that we all could learn about how to get more likes, how to get more engagement. There's people who are good at that stuff. But a lot of artists, let's just face it, a lot of artists aren't social media marketing gurus, right? You're just not going to be knowing how to address people as an audience or knowing how to market yourself. You may not even have the time to do that because you have so many things to do just making the music, maybe writing the songs, producing the songs, mixing and mastering it, and then you got to perform it as well, right? So, and by the way, this is not just something that happens to small artists or independent artists or up-and-coming artists. I mean, this is a post from Mahalia, who is an UK R&B artist who has been signed since she was 13 to a major record label, right? And she has done streams of up to 100 million, and she says that all this money is going to her label. And I'm sure you can all relate to her feelings. I mean, she's talking here about her experience. It's genuinely devastating to release art into the world and not see much back from it. I never made music because I wanted to make money. That became a reality as I started to see my music doing well. But still, this shit is hard. Most albums cost $10 or less or £10 or less. We're in a cost of living crisis right now, so buying an album might not be something you can do, and I completely understand that. But if you can, you should. And she goes into other things like if you really want to support your favorite artists, buy tickets to their shows and buy their music. She also talks about other things in the post, and a lot of people have been commenting about it. But this just goes to show that it doesn't matter who you are, that nobody's immune to this thing, that even though you're a big major label artist, that some of these artists are actually finding themselves in a situation where they still don't make enough money to earn a living from their music. In fact, some of them end up in debt doing so. So it's not just an independent artist thing. It's not just a small artist thing. It's even major artists who have the same issue. And so I get you completely, Chris, when you're talking about trying to put your music out there, because I was where you were a few years ago. And I was thinking to myself, man, why is it not working out for me? And here's where beliefs come into play. Because the first thing that Chris mentions in his note is that I've been singing and I've been trying to get famous. And here's where a lot of artists stumble, is that we believe sometimes as artists that, when I put my music out there, it's going to be so great that people are going to love it so much that I'm going to be famous, right? And you might have like maybe 20, 50, 100, maybe even a few hundred or maybe even a few thousand fans who kind of say, you know what, we really love your music. We think it's awesome. And we think that you have so much to give. And you know what, we just can't wait to release your music. And so you go on this journey where you think, I've got these fans. And if I can just produce the right kind of music and get to the right audience, then I'm going to blow up. And so we put all this effort in. And then we release our music. And then to our astonishment, or rather to our amazement and to our depression, not many people kind of respond to it. Maybe they see it, maybe they watch it once or twice and they go, yeah, that's nice. But they don't really come back. They don't really share it with people. And maybe they don't really become that viral moment that you were kind of hoping for, right? I was hoping to just release this thing and explode. The harsh truth of the matter is that sometimes we don't have everything it takes to be that person. We don't have everything it takes to actually become that star. We might not have that star quality just yet. I'm not saying that you can never get it, but what I'm saying is if your audience is giving you that response that, hey, listen, we kind of liked what you did. It was okay, but it wasn't really like, I didn't feel like I need to listen to the song like 20 times in repeat, or I didn't feel like sharing this song to 100 people that I know. So it was okay. Maybe your audience might say that. And so this is where your beliefs get challenged. Like, who do I think I am?
Who do you think you are?
What kind of artist do I think I am? Am I the kind of artist that goes viral, that posts a piece of content and then it blows up into the world? Am I Psy with Gangnam Style? And by the way, don't underrate what Psy did with Gangnam Style, because he literally created a brand and a dope video with all kinds of dance moves and a really catchy song, a really catchy theme. And he probably had a lot of money to market it as well. You can just see by the quality of the content that he produced. One song produced at a very high quality, but all the right ingredients, and that made him blow up. And I believe that was purely his aim in doing that, just getting fame. So if we come back to the average independent artist who won't have that big budget, who won't have the choreographed dances and the big budget to push your content in the face of media, in the face of people, whether that's on social media, on radio, or even on TV, if you don't have that, then you're faced with the challenge of, who am I as an artist? What kind of artist am I? So I'm going to share with you a second story, and this is going to be relevant to the first story. And this second story speaks of another artist who had a challenge in his beliefs, because I spoke to him, and I know this artist for many years, and he's been sending me songs, and his songs have been improving. His songwriting style has improved, and his rapping has improved as well. Now, he's also a very good producer, right? So I remember when he first started sending me songs, and I'll be like, man, your production is good. Your production is really good. But your rapping, not quite. It's not quite there. And he kept writing. He kept rapping. He kept writing songs. He kept producing. And his production level just continued to go up and up and up to a point where I'm like, yo, dude, this is like commercial level. This is like, I could hear this on the radio. But the rapping, man, is just not, the production is there and the rapping is like there. It's like really, really way low. And he goes back and he keeps practicing again. He comes back and I'm like, yo, yeah, your rapping is getting close. It's better, but it's just lacking. There's just something that's lacking in it. But here's the thing, right? This guy is actually a very good songwriter. So when I say a good songwriter, I mean that when he writes a hook, for example, I'm like, yo, that's a really catchy melody. I like that. When he writes a bar or a line, a few bars, I'm like, yo, that's really catchy. That's good. But what happens is that when he tries to rap it, it doesn't translate well. You see, it sounds good when he's writing it down and he's humming it. But when he actually tries to rap that lyric or that bar and then he puts it in a verse, with his delivery, it doesn't quite hit the same way. So I remember having a conversation with him and I was like, man, you've got to pause now. You got to take a long, hard look at yourself and think to yourself, what do I really want to do with my music? Because your production level is like, I would say it's like 80% level, close to being commercially, like I would say, competing with the best of the best, right? But your rap is like, it's like at a 20% level where it's like, it's not even anywhere close to being, do you know what I mean, the best. Because yeah, your songwriting is good, but your delivery just lacks. And that tells me that he's not really a rapper. And I gave him an example. I said, listen, think about Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre is one of the most talented producers out there that's ever lived. But Dr. Dre was with NWA and he realized that his strength didn't lie in rapping so much, but his strength lied in production. So he put most of his effort in production and he said, look, I can rap every now and again, but really my strength lies in the DJing and the production. And that's where I'm going to put most of my effort into. And I'm going to let these guys take the front of the stage and I'm going to be behind them DJing and playing the records and doing all that kind of stuff. Now, here's the funny thing, right? Dr. Dre's actually made a career out of doing this. And he also has his own album, right? The Chronic, right? But this album was an album that was made after many, 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 many years. Why? Because Dre isn't really a rapper like that. Of course, he can kind of rap. If you put enough practice into it, you can kind of rap. But I think Dre himself has used songwriters and other writers as well to help him with that album, with completing that album, right? Purely because he's not that kind of rapper. If you to name like your top 20 hip hop artists who have influenced the culture, Dre's probably in that category, but not as a rapper. But if you combine what he does with the production and of course his rapping, you could say, yeah, this is a top 20 influencer in the music industry. So I had to sit this brother down and say, look, I think you need to consider the fact that maybe the rapping is not your strength. You can still write for other rappers, you can still guide other rappers, but really, your job is not really to rap. Your job is to produce and to guide the rappers. Of course, it doesn't mean that you don't rap at all. You might still be able to produce a song where you rap maybe a verse, maybe a 16, maybe a 32 bar, whatever you want to call it. But then your main thing is not to lead the song because you don't have enough charisma, you don't have enough star power, and you don't have the delivery to actually become that artist who commands a whole song by yourself. So I remember speaking to him and he just said, man, you know what, thank you, because I was putting myself under so much pressure, trying to become something that I'm not. And really, I might have been going down the wrong path and thinking, why am I failing? And I'm only failing because I'm doing the wrong thing. My belief is that I should be a rapper, but really I should be a producer who guides other rappers. And here's the thing, Dr. Dre is a billionaire, right? He's actually done things, not just with his music, but with his brand, with beats and everything else, with Jimmy Iovine. And he's been able to transcend in a way, just the rap. He's worked with multi-genre artists. He's worked with hip-hop artists and other artists in other genres, primarily hip-hop, but he's been able to transcend the genre. And because of that, he's actually had a lot more longevity than a lot of rappers because he understood where his true talent lies and where his true skills are. Now, if you haven't watched the video about gifts, talents, and skills, I'm going to ask you to watch that video. I'm going to link it here because I think it's a very valuable video that you need to watch and understand that not everything that you're good at doesn't mean you should do it. In fact, there's things that you're good at that you definitely shouldn't do because they have nothing to do with your purpose, right? So I think it's important for us as creatives to understand that just because I can do X, Y, Z doesn't mean I should do it. Maybe there's another area where I'm really strong at and I can double down on that. And then in these other areas, I can help other artists to grow in this area and I can get other artists to help me maybe in this area as well. And we can collaborate because that's what really creates success. So that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about your beliefs and challenging your beliefs about what you think you should be as an artist, how you think your career should go as an artist. And I also want to say that, above everything else, when you create music, and if your sole purpose is to be famous, then I would argue you need to approach the business of making music completely differently. You need to be more logical about it, and you need to be more detached from the actual aspect of creating music. Because if you actually love music, if you actually enjoy making music, then you should make music for the pure joy of just making music. Because it's something that you have to do. You just pick up a guitar and start playing it and just like, I just love it. That's what I do for relaxation, right? I'm not an artist that wants to perform. I don't enjoy performing. I don't enjoy standing in front of a stage. And that's what I realized some years ago that, performing in front of a stage, doing live events and touring is not my cup of tea. I don't enjoy that. I don't imagine myself enjoying that at all. And in fact, if I was to become super successful and to have to perform in a stadium, I wouldn't like that at all. But there's people out there who dream of doing that. And that's what they're meant to do, but that's not what I'm meant to do. So I had to learn through my own process that I had to change my beliefs system about who I thought I was going to be as an artist and what the role of artistry would be in my life. I still use art, I still use music, I still make music, I still use those skills, but not as a performer, not as a front stage person, right? So I want you to sort of go away and sort of take a moment to really think about your belief systems about what you're supposed to be, about what you think you're supposed to be, what you think you're supposed to achieve, and what you think you're entitled to in this life. All this really shapes how you approach anything in life. Because once you understand this, once you truly grasp that element of, I've believed the wrong thing. I grew up in this family maybe that was super successful in this particular area, but because I believed that I was pursuing this thing, but now I really should be pursuing this because this is really true to my nature, and this is really what I should be pursuing. It might not be as glamorous as that, but it's still quite amazing, and I'll feel truly fulfilled doing that. And I think that's where you'll find true happiness and true fulfillment. So, Chris, if you are watching this, if you are listening to this, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it provided some value and some clarity for you as well. Right? So if you like this video, do me the favor of liking this video, do me the favor of sharing it with someone that you think could benefit from it as well. And if you haven't subscribed already, then please subscribe, because it lets us know that what we're doing here is valuable to you and that the content means something to you as well. So thank you so much for your time. Now, we believe that the way for artists to thrive and to succeed is for them to utilize and leverage the audience that they already have access to. Right now, as you know, most platforms don't really tell you who your audience are. All you see is numbers. So in other words, if I put a song on a streaming platform like Spotify, for example, I'm going to put it up there and I'm going to see a bunch of streams going up, and it's going to tell me, yeah, you're doing well, you're doing well, you're doing well. But the unfortunate thing is that I never know who exactly is listening to my music, right? So although it's good to see the numbers, it's good to see, people are loving your music. But the problem with this is that every time you release a new song, right, you can't necessarily reach back out to that same audience and say, hey, you know what? I know you liked my song before. Here's another song. You're just going to have to hope, right? And you're going to have to hope. You're going to have to sit there and go, you know what? I released a song and, 10,000 people liked it. They played it the last time I played it. And I'm just going to hope that those same 10,000 people and more come back and listen to my new songs. Now, if they've added you to a playlist, then you're lucky. But if they haven't, then they won't see it. And as you know, there are over 60,000 songs uploaded on Spotify every day, which means that you're all fighting for the same attention, for the same ears, for the same eyeballs that are coming to Spotify. So we think it's very important for you as an artist to actually have the data, right? To be able to kind of say, look, I'm going to market my music, and when I put it out there, I might have 100, 200, 500, maybe even 1,000 people listen to my music. And when they listen to it, I want to capture that information, right? Because I want to understand exactly who that is. So we've designed a platform that helps you to do just that, right? Our platform helps you to actually see who's listening to your music, to actually tell by name, by email, and also tell which country they're in, right? Now, this is very crucial. So if you want to remarket your song, if you release a song, for example, and then today you put it out there and then 100 people streamed it today, and then you could tell, okay, you know what? I put this music out there on Facebook and I only got 100 people. And then you put it out there and you put it on YouTube or TikTok, and then you realize, you know what, there's 200 people on TikTok that found the song through TikTok, and then another 500 people that found it through YouTube. So I can actually now kind of see, if I put all my efforts in putting it on YouTube and marketing it through YouTube, this makes more sense because this is where my audience is at. And now you're beginning to actually understand how your audience actually consumes your music, where they're consuming it from, and exactly where to put most of your efforts into, right? So this data is very, very important. And our platform does this for you real time. So in other words, when you're putting music up and it's live within a few minutes, you can start to put your music out there. When you tell your audience to go out there and stream and download your music, when they download it, that's when you can actually see their name, their email, and where they're from. And they can also donate to you and do all the cool stuff from that as well. And you get that contact information because you have earned it. Those are your fans and you deserve to have that information, right? So in this digital age, your information is like gold dust. And if you have that information, then you are going to be way ahead of the curve in terms of everyone else and what they're doing. So we've created a platform that's going to help you do all these things and get all the data and get all this information. And we teach you how to do this as well in our own Learning Hub. Now, the Learning Hub is a very short 15 video series which kind of teaches you about the platform, how to use it, how to go about it, and exactly how you're going to be marketing your music to your audience and how you're going to monetize that audience using our platform as well. So if you're an artist, if you're a musician, a singer, a songwriter, you're a performer, and you're having this challenge of trying to see, do my beliefs really align with what I'm trying to do? Right? Do my beliefs really align with what I'm trying to achieve? Then I think that 7th Century is the right platform for you, because on our platform, we'll allow you to actually see the real metrics behind your music and see not just who your audience is, but specifically where they are. So again, if you want to really be more specific about your targeting, you could go, I'm going to target this country more, or I'm going to target this country more, because that's where I'm performing and that's where I want to nurture my audience. Our Learning Hub shows you all this and goes through all this stuff. Sign up for the Learning Hub in the link just below this section as well. So I encourage you to do that if you haven't done so already. And once you do that, we'll also invite you into a private Facebook groups where you can speak to us, again, speak to other artists and speak to other professionals who are doing exactly what you're doing and who are going about the business of improving their own career in music and finding their own space and finding their own identity, right? So thank you again, and thanks for your time for watching this video. I hope you liked it. I release a video like this every single week, at least once a week. And so if you like this, do like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in a week's time. Take care. Love you as always. Bye-bye.